2nd Avenue, 48th Street, baby. Yeah, Vernon Avenue, the 40s.
Yeah.
Make sure the Fig. I'm from that area.
I mean, generally, I think you just got to kind of move slow, because you don't want to bite off more than you can chew, be moving around a little too crazy.
I'm finna slow up. I'm about to shut it down. After this interview, I'm gonna shut it down right now. Bro.
Somehow.
In today's video, we're going to talk about Dody6 and T.0wee from the Rollin' 40s. T.0wee would be the most requested person I got so far, and he would go to jail so young that he would only have one adult case that he caught at the age of 18, so I decided to loop him in with Dody6. And on top of that, Dody also went to jail at the age of 18, so he only has one adult case also. And like we all know, they were both incarcerated together and dropping music together while they were in jail. They are both 26 years old right now, and like we said, they both got arrested at the age of 18. But we're gonna dive into Dody6 first. Dody's first case would be for 2 counts of robbery, and he was arrested on May 29th of 2017 at the age of 18. And I'm pretty sure his co-defendant was a female because the name is a girl name. But either way, they would be booked on the same day, and they would also be held to answer. But a month after being arrested, Dody6 would post a $90,000 bail on June 20th of 2017. And 3 months later, on September 28th of 2017, his co-defendant would post a $90,000 bail also. But while being out on that $90,000 bail, Dody6 would pick up 2 counts of petty theft. He was picked up on July 26th of 2017, just a month after bailing out. But since he caught a new case, he would have to sit until his next court date for the double robbery charge, which was on September 28th of 2017, and he would post a $190,000 bail. Remember, this would be the same day that his co-defendant posted their $90,000 bail. But he would have to wait a month for the double petty theft case, and they would give him a $10,000 bail for that, so he would be out on a $200,000 bail total. He would then fight this case from the streets, but he would only be free for about a month, because on November 30th of 2017, he would take a plea deal on the double robbery count, and he would plead guilty on both counts. He would be sentenced to 5 years for one count, and then 1 year for the other count. And as you see, the sentence date to the right would be January 9th of 2018. His co-defendant would also take a plea deal, but only on one count. The other count of robbery would be dismissed. And they would get 2 years in state prison on the same day as Dody, January 9th of 2018. But since Dody's release, he's been going viral, for good things and for bad things. But either way, he's been staying out of trouble. That would be his only case right there as an adult, and let's just hope it stays that way. But now we're gonna get into T.0wee. Now, like we said, T.0wee was also arrested at the age of 18, but his situation and story would be way crazier. T.0wee was arrested on November 18th of 2016 for 2 counts of attempted murder, and as you see to the right, the offense date would be the same exact day. And T.0wee also had a co-defendant, and his co-defendant was also a female. They were both arrested on the same day, and they were both ordered to be held. And it's alleged that T.0wee and this girl were riding around. That's when they decided to stop and get something to eat. And in the process of doing that, a group of enemies would see T.0wee, and they would approach him. At this time, T.0wee was 5'4" and weighed 110 pounds. They would bang on T.0wee, and T.0wee would bang back. That's when allegedly, T.0wee would pull out and open fire on the group, hitting 2 of them, and 1 of them would be wounded really bad. But after sitting for 8 months, his co-defendant would be released on June 27th of 2017, and she would have her case dismissed. And the reason why would be for 1385 penal code, which means the judge decides to dismiss the case. They would then give him a $1 million bail, but obviously he didn't post it. He would sit in the county jail for 1.5 years before seeing trial. But unfortunately, on February 9th of 2018, he would blow trial. And as you can see, they would add 2 counts of assaulting a person with a semi-automatic firearm. And he would be found guilty on both them counts. He would be acquitted of 1 attempted murder, but they would reduce the other attempted murder to an attempted voluntary manslaughter, to where he would be found guilty of that count. He would then be sentenced on April 17th of 2019, to where he would get 29.5 years. And let's break down how and why. As you can see right there, the term duration on count 1 would say 66 months. But if you look underneath it where it says comment, you can see that it says a total term of 15 years and 6 months for this count due to gang enhancements. Now let's move on to count 2 and count 3. As you can see, they both say 3 years, but if you look in the comments, it says a total term of 7 years for each of them because they added 4 years to each of them for the gang enhancements. So a total of 14 years just for them 2 counts. But even though he was sentenced to 29.5 years, he would be eligible for parole in 2028 after serving 10 years, which would be way better than serving 29.5 years. But they're allowing him to parole that early because technically he was so young at that time, and that would be his first adult case. And in California, if you're under a certain age, they'll allow you to parole early. But let's just hope he can stay out of trouble and parole early, because me personally, I think he's one of the best up-and-coming rappers out of LA. And like we said, he's the most requested that we got so far, so I'm sure a lot of you think the same. But that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and I appreciate y'all. It's Respectable Rants.